At this key dialogue, artificial intelligence and drug discovery, a game changer. AI is already, as we speak, revolutionizing pharmaceuticals, pushing the boundaries of speed, efficiency, and accuracy in drug discovery. So, what's that going to mean for the future of mankind? We have Dr. Mohammad Hazwan Mohammaddaud, who is a head of life science at Meranti, and we are going to be joined by Professor Dr. Chi On Leong, founder and CEO, AGTC Genomics, Dr. Muhammad Nazri Kamal, Deputy Group Managing Director, Solutions Group Berhad, and Professor Dr. Vanajan Sangiran Lee, Head of COE, Quantum Information Science and Technology. So we'd like to invite everyone to kindly take their place on stage as we get set for this very interesting conversation. Doctor, I think you're going to have your hands full with this one. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome all our guests to the stage and our main speakers. Let's give them a round of applause as I hand the floor to Dr. Mohammad Hazwan Mohammaddaud.
Assalamu alaikum and very good morning, everyone. So as mentioned by the MC, thank you, Mr. MC. We have a very interesting topic this morning. So we have explored the use of AI in basically a lot of industries. And this morning we are going into specific. We're going into the use or utilization of AI, artificial intelligence in pharmaceutical, in particular the drug discovery and drug development process. Sorry. So I have with me basically a group of very prominent panels today. I have an expert in biologics, expert in quantum computing, molecular dynamics, simulation, expert in genomics. So let me give a brief introduction to each of them. First of all, on my right, I have Professor Dr. Chi On Leong, founder and CEO of AGTC Genomics, with over 20 years of experience, including as a senior research fellow at Harvard University. Prof. Leong is a pioneer in cancer detection, rare disease diagnostic, and AI-driven personalized medicine. A recipient of multiple global accolades, for example, the Top Research Scientist Malaysia Award, is currently transforming healthcare through innovation. So please welcome Prof. Leong. Next, I have Prof. Vanajan from So we have a representative from academia this morning. Prof. Vanajan is basically a professor of chemistry with the University of Malaya and also the deputy head of QIST, Center of Excellence for Quantum Information Science Technology. Oh, that's quite a lengthy name. She's a renowned expert in molecular modeling and sustainable development. And she holds a PhD in pharmaceutical sciences and recently received the UNESCO Women of Influence for Science and Technology Award. That's a very prestigious award. Through her innovative research and platform like Mold Design, which is a platform that she developed to encourage molecular creators and innovators, Prof. Vanajan currently empowered the next generation of molecular creators. Please welcome Prof. Vanajan. Thank you for joining us this morning. And the next figure is satu figure yang tidak asing lagi di biotechnology industry in Malaysia. We have Dr. Nazli Kamal, Deputy Group Managing Director of Solution Group Berhad and CEO of Solution Biologics, with over 30 years of experience, including leading roles in biotech policy, industry and academia. Dr. Nazli was instrumental in shaping a Malaysian national biotechnology policy back in 2005. A visionary leader and sought-after consultant, he has driven innovation across sectors and continues to shape the future of biotechnology. Again, please welcome Dr. Nazri. Thanks for joining us this morning, Dato'. So as I mentioned, we have a very interesting yet a specific topic of AI for drug discovery. So AI is not an alien in healthcare. It's been used for diagnostic. It's been used for treatment plans and all that. But this morning we are going to explore a very specific topic of using artificial intelligence in drug discovery. And this is definitely a game changer. So without further ado, let me start the session. So basically this morning we are going to cover three main foundations. Number one is the AI integration in drug discovery and development process. Number two, how AI can be leveraged through their utilization in pharmaceutical sciences to broadening access and competitiveness, thereby ensuring accessible and affordable drugs in the market. And finally, we have the ethical dilemma, the collaboration and ethical challenges with AI integration. My first question is to Prof. Leong. Since 2015, actually, we have seen around 75 AI-discovered molecules enter into the clinical trial. We are talking about phase 1 and phase 2 globally. But yet, we haven't seen any of these AI-discovered molecules actually enter the market yet. So we have around 75, and 50% of those, almost 50% of those actually are meant for oncology. So they are meant for cancer therapeutics and all that. So my question is to Prof. Leong. AI is a game changer in understanding disease mechanism. How has it refined our ability to develop personalized treatment, and what recent advancement that excites you the most?
Okay, first of all, let me congratulate the organizer, okay, to assemble such a wonderful event and also have the great speakers. So I think this makeup of the panel just continues the discussion previously about quadruplex and also triplex, basically. So we have someone from academic, from industry and policymaker, and I'm the one in transition between academics and industry. Now, to answer the question, so when we look at drug development, so it takes some time for the drugs to come out to the market. First of all, it is a lengthy process. It can take as long as 10 to 15 years to come out. It has to go through multiple phases. Now, whatever the AI drugs that is being designed is quite recent, so we won't be seeing this into the market probably in the next 5 or 8 years. But what makes the AI drug design very interesting is that it has improved dramatically the successful rate compared to when we do it in the old days. So a lot of the time it's based on wisdom, basically. Now with the AI, that could help us to accelerate this process and to a certain extent to simulate the drugs before it enters into preclinical and also clinical study to anticipate what kind of toxicity it might have and also what kind of effectiveness and what are the targets that they want to target. For example, I think this has been one of the revolutionary changes when it comes to a drug discovery and development. It lowered down the risk quite significantly, right? So I think when we move forward, as the world are now going to be exploded with more and more genomics data and other omics data, I think finding the target for other diseases will come very soon. So there will be new targets that will be discovered. In fact, we are now in the speed that discovering new targets is no longer an issue. So we have big data that many countries are started to generate. For the past 10 years, we are talking about like the UK Biobank, we are talking about like all of us from US, and even Malaysia have embarked into our own My Genome study as well. And all these will fuel the industry and also the areas which will actually help to accelerate the target discovery and then bring this to the AI and also drug development.
Thank you, Prof. Basically, that's very insightful. So the key takeaways that we can take from that is basically AI is able to accelerate drug development. And also, based on the data that I have in my hand now, basically, adding the info into that, phase 1 trials for AI-discovered molecule have shown a greater success rate between 80 to 90% compared to the traditional method of success rate between 40 to 65. So basically, AI is able to not just accelerate drug development, but increase the chance of success maneuvering around the phase 1 clinical trials. So because of this, I think it's one of the things that was mentioned by Prof. Leong as well is about how AI can be used to assess the toxicity and one of the important parameters in drug development is the efficacy of the drug itself. So to that, I would like to ask Prof. Vanajan, molecular dynamic simulation are critical in predicting drug efficacy. How do AI tools enhance the simulation to identify viable candidates before clinical trials?
Thank you very much, Dr. Haswan, for the introduction and explain my gratitude to the Emranti for having me here. It's a truly honor to be here to share my thought and my research. Yeah. So about my topics on molecular dynamics, I start to lose connection with the audience. So I would like to talk in a simple term as a computer-aided drug design. So basically, I start in 1994 in order to do the simulation of circle square sphere. Yeah, that time we were like don't know anything how the computer gonna do all this. Yeah, with the not single atom anything yet, just a sphere. Then from 1984 until now, how many years? 30 years, right? You can see the change a lot. Now you can think as the DNA, proteins. I would like to focus especially for the cancer because it's the thing that we need most now. It's complex, very complex, and then we cannot solve it yet. So now, from the computer-aided drug design to the molecular dynamics simulation, how do we do that? Now you start to see the DNA in the computers. The AI and molecular dynamic is like the play button to see the DNA moving, molecular movie of the DNA or protein target towards the drugs, and then show you if this drug work or not. Are you excited with me? You can simulate with the pH in the body. Our body, 37, the temperature 37 degrees. What is the different pH in our body, and then the water. And then you can click play, and then can see the interaction of the protein dynamics with the drugs, and then make the prediction. And then it's very exciting even more because you have the ChatGPT, right? And then now another AI tool that come into play very big role. And then we got the Nobel Prize 2023 is proteins, AI proteins we call AlphaFold. Okay? So for this, even though you don't get the real structure of the protein, target protein in all different cancer cells, different mutation, you will be able to predict from the 2D genetics or the 1D genetic information like protein sequence. And you'll be able to generate accurately with the AI tool, with the AlphaFold, for all the protein sequence, almost 100%. This is a powerful tool in order to make the prediction. If you want to repurpose drugs, or you want to reuse the natural products in order to target different protein mutation in the cancer, you'll be able to predict correctly what drug treatment to be good, specific for you with the precision and personalized medicine. Exciting or not? It can be done, because I can see the evaluation from the structure modification. That time I kind of like dropped down already. I cannot I build many, active molecule. It doesn't work because the fundings is not enough to support the industry to push certain target of the drugs toward the industry. It's many players, US, UK, Japan, how Malaysia gonna do. You have to link with the partner. You like, okay, this drug cannot do everything active. But now, different things already. You do repurpose the drug with different mutation, or you use natural products in different mutation towards certain disease. For example, the cancer with different mutation. If you have the inherited gene, you already know that which drugs is suitable. Now the technology is until like this already. Okay.
Thank you, Prof.
We got a chance, yeah.
That's a very passionate answer, I would say. Yeah. I think, yes, basically from that, one of the key takeaways that we can get is AI is not just helping to simplify the process, but rather is accelerate the entire thing as well. Because instead of using a traditional method, hit and miss, trial and error in the labs, now you can just sit in front of your computer doing all the simulations and molecular dynamic simulation, and basically from that, get the data and try it out. And from there, basically, basically you can skip a couple of processes from there. Instead of using a traditional method of you need to buy the chemical compounds and all that. So it's not just accelerating, but it's also simplifying and I would say reducing the cost of getting drugs to the market. So basically, talking about that, drug industry is not a very, I would say, it is a game of the richest. In order for you to push a drug to the market, it will cost billions of dollars, and sometimes it's 10 of years basically to complete all the phase 1 and phase 2 clinical trials. So traditionally, drug discovery, drug development is a game of for the richest. But as Tony Fernandez mentioned this morning as well, COVID-19 basically sort of has impacted us in a way that a lot of nations currently is focusing on pandemic preparedness. And when we talk about pandemic preparedness, of course, we will talk about vaccine. So when we talk about AI for drug discovery, we can use it for small molecules, we can use it for biologics or large molecule. And under that biologics or large molecule, we have one of it is vaccine. So I would like to, my next question is to Dr. Nazli. Of course, it is vaccine related, it's Dr. Nazli. In terms of vaccine development, how can AI streamline vaccine development, especially in responding to pandemics and building our capacity for pandemic preparedness? And what role does it play in minimizing side effects of the vaccine?
Thank you, Dr. Azwan. Maybe some of you will be wondering, me and vaccine. Okay, so just want to relate some story about my experience, and then we'll see where AI can basically contribute to the development of vaccines. During the pandemic, my group managing director, Mr. Barry Lim, was saying, Nazli, I think we have to do vaccine. And I said, wow, that is interesting, but it is very difficult subject. Then he said, why not we link with one of the 3 players from China, which is CanSino, Sinopharm, Sinovac. And then I found my friend in CanSino. So I contacted him and we got connected. So that's where we getting into vaccine business and development. And I think when we started off, we were a young company. We started to form Solution Biologics way back in 2021. And I think but the magic word in terms of vaccine development is the acceleration, try to get to the end point. And it becomes a race. And of course, I think looking at the technology development those days during the pandemic, we can see that the US was talking about the Warp Speed project and then trying to speed up the development of the vaccine. And of course, there's a geopolitical tension during that time. And there's a lot of issues at hand, and how do we develop the vaccine in a very short time. We have experienced before H1N1 and all that. So sometimes what happened to us was we get the vaccine or the drugs, but then it passed the time when the crisis happening. So you have a very small time opening for you to develop the vaccine. And obviously, people are struggling to try to find a way to solve the problem. And they are also betting on technology. Those days, there is no AI during that time, and so AI is during the infancy time. And so CanSino was betting on the adenovirus platform. And Sinovac, Sinopharm was attenuated virus. And so Johnson & Johnson was working on another adenovirus, and the AstraZeneca and Oxford University was another adenovirus. And I have to equip myself with a bit more knowledge. And just imagine, we are a young company, and then we say, okay, the ministry was saying to us, well, if you can register the vaccine, then we can consider getting the vaccine into the Malaysian market. And so we trying to work out the dossier from CanSino to NPRA. Just imagine, we received 500 questions from NPRA. 500 questions we need to answer. And at that time, how to answer 500 questions, you imagine. But if I have an AI tool, probably I can shorten up the period. So that's the point that I'm trying to get through. And so for CanSino, I mean, in terms of the science, it was, they were lucky a bit on the point that there was this researcher, I think he was a lieutenant general or something from the Chinese Biotech Institute. They have developed Ebola at that time using the platform, and then they developed the coronavirus vaccine based on the same platform. But what I'm trying to say here is actually AI would definitely provide a big impact on the new vaccine development. And actually last year, CEPI, which is a coalition of epidemic preparedness innovations, have already started the development of AI with the Houston Methodist Research Institute. But I think there's a lot of room is available for us to start thinking about the application of AI in terms of creating the right target. The issue here, for example, the messenger RNA technology, you can see that the Pfizer development on the vaccine based on BioNTech, there was a lot of side effects. And so the development of the molecule for the target is going to be something that will be very crucial and important in terms of the development. And just for the last point, I would say that I'm a chess player. Any of you a chess player? Okay, good. Now, this year, chemistry Nobel Prize was given to Sir Dr. Demis Hassabis. So he's basically, sorry, Sir Demis Hassabis. So he's a chess player, and recently, I think during the World Chess Champion right now in Singapore, he was the one who made the first move. And you just imagine, he's not a chemistry major, but he was the one that developed the AlphaFold that won the Nobel Prize. And we hope by the development of AI and the understanding of the protein folding, that hopefully will develop more inroads to the development of a new vaccine. And we hope by doing that, we can then create a vaccine that will be like less side effects and more potent in the development. Thank you.
Thanks, Dato. That's very insightful. I heard that you mentioned that when you basically submitted your dossier to NPRA, there were hundreds of questions. So I would like to know if there's anyone from the regulator side here in this hall today. No? Okay. So let's try to flip the coin. Now AI is being used by the drug developer for drug discovery and drug development. So my question is still to Dato. How can regulators, NPRA for example, leverage on AI, maybe to streamline the approval process, maybe to expedite the regulatory approval and all that? Yeah, over to you, Dato.
Thank you. I think there's a very important question here because as you know, sometimes we as a company, when we submit a dossier for regulatory approval, they will say it will take 18 months for approval. And to us, 18 months is a very long time, I mean, trying to get it approved. But to understand the difficulty of evaluation of the dossier, and it will be like you have to sift through thousands of documents that is submitted. And the crucial point is that if you were to approve and somebody died, and so because of this, I think there's a lot of sense of responsibility for the drug authority to be able to sift through this. But the challenge for drug regulation authority will be experience. And I think this is going to be something that AI probably can provide some help. And I think one thing that even now FDA is already making some inroads using AI in terms of evaluation for biologics and drugs. And I think they're going to start very soon. They just announced in this year that they're going to start the inroad of using AI for evaluation, because I think it's not only Malaysia, but the rest of the world will face the same issue, especially when you come up with a new technology. Example that I can give would be cell and gene therapy. an area which is very new. And our authority definitely will have some issues in trying to approve this kind of treatment because of lack of experience, young probably officers who need to go through the document. So I believe AI, with the help of AI, it will be able to shorten up the period. But it's not only on the side of regulation, it's also for the company. In fact, for what we are having some difficulty in trying to submit our dossier will be the format. Now, let's say, for example, now I'm dealing with CanSino because now they are part of our company. And so our long-term relationship will be that they would like to use Malaysia as a hub to get their products out to the market. But then again, translating from NMPA document to the ASEAN Common Technical Dossier will take months. But I think with the help of AI, the change in format from whatever requirement, like say NMPA to ICH CTD or the ASEAN Common Technical Dossier probably will be lesser in terms of time. And also by the application of AI, it will also reduce some errors that we are having sometimes when we submit our dossier. That's the reason why we have 500 questions, and sometimes we have to reformat the document or the data. Data is not available, data is not sufficient. And so I think these are the key points that probably AI will be able to provide some answers in terms of efficiency, getting less error, and also for the regulatory authority to be able to sift through the document in a much faster rate. And we hope maybe Malaysia can start a project that we say that it's a pilot project that will help our NPRA to be able to evaluate application in a much faster and orderly fashion. Thank you.
Thank you, Dato'. I think from Meranti's side, we would love to explore that in terms of utilizing AI for the regulators, and perhaps we'll explore the partnership with NPRA as well as one of the key takeaways from this station. So as mentioned by the three panelists just now, AI is also capable of reducing the cost of drugs development, hence making drugs more affordable and accessible to the mass. So I have a number of statistics here in terms of the number of scientific publications in AI. So number of scientific publications in regards to AI has reached its peak of 350,000 scientific publications in 2023. The number of AI in medicine was 190,000, the peak in 2021, and the number of scientific publication in AI-assisted material discovery has also been on increasing trend. Last year, it was around 1,200. So basically, right now, we have seen a great interest from the industry in this field, and also from academia as well in this area. And it has been quoted as AI is capable of leveling the playing fields in terms of drug discovery. So now it's no longer the game of the big pharmaceutical companies. Now there's a chance for smaller players as well to get involved in basically developing drug and pushing it to the market. So my next question is to Prof. Leong. AI is often seen as a tool for democratizing drug discovery. How can AI reduce barriers and also broaden access, especially for smaller players in the industry? And while we are on this topic, perhaps you can also elaborate on the use of AI for repurposing FDA-approved drug as well.
Right. That's a good question. So now, many years ago when I was doing a PhD, I think some of you probably will experience the same as well, is that when we want to look for papers, if we cannot find it in the library, we have to ask for something what we call interlibrary loan. I don't know whether you still remember that, right? So, and that takes 2 to 3 weeks to come with a hard copy paper. That was, previously, that was the past. Then the knowledge economy have moved it into all the publication now into online that is searchable with Google, but still you need to know what you are searching for. You need to sift through all the information, and that even it helps you to shorten the time, it still takes a lot of effort to go through it. Now, with the help of the AI for the first time is that now you can actually ask the computer to sift through all the data, not only to sift through all the data for you, but even you can ask the questions of what is the information that you needed. You can create your own database, for example, okay? And you can curate this from open source database plus your own database or whatsoever, and then you can actually use that to query the AI and it can generate the results. So now AI cannot exist without data. So, and that is why I think data is going to be very important. And when we have the access to all this data, it will allow us to design things that is differently. So why I say that, I think AI could leverage, to give us an opportunity to really have a level playing field is that now the technology barrier to really go into, like to synthesize a new drug or design a new drug, the barrier has becoming lower and lower. So the important part now is basically how we can actually gather all this information and the data quickly and validate the data quickly. So things like, for example, quickly go into the clinical trial will give us a very head start compared to other players. So we cannot have the AI that do all the excellent discovery and also the simulation, but it's stuck, cannot go into the clinical trial, and then we will be lagging behind. So I think information is powerful, and what AI can do is really helping us to have a level playing field now that more people can actually access it, no longer that we have to base on, a certain wisdom. Imagine, okay, last time if you are doing molecular docking or molecular dynamic study, it can be one PhD thesis. Today are probably just 1 week of work. So I think this type of technology, okay, would help us to accelerate. So if we master it easily, especially when new technology comes, right, that is the opportunity for us to catch up. So if we do not embrace it, we will lose up again. So if you look at all the drug discovery, we have lost the boat when it comes to small molecule development. We are not in that part. We have lost the boat, when it comes to biologics development. We are not on it. So now the next generation, okay, now AI coming in. So I think we should embrace this opportunity to leverage it and push the industry and also discovery ahead. Yeah.
Thanks, Prof. So as Prof mentioned, AI is basically using data. So that's why when we put in garbage data is garbage out. So it's important to get the right data for us in order to develop a very efficient and accurate artificial intelligence. So basically, building on that, for medical field, for example, we have multi-omics data, we have proteomics, we have genomics and all that. And individual studies of this basically particular omics data can take like petabytes of memory. So my next question is to Prof. Vanajan. In terms of quantum computing, how can quantum computing basically empower or enhance the capability of artificial intelligence development? And maybe while we are on this topic, maybe you can explain what is quantum computing in the layman terms to the audience.
Okay, how many of you know quantum computing? Okay, very good, yeah, but I see only 10%, okay? So I want to tell you about the quantum computing in a simple way, yeah. It's very complicated at first in the beginning. Yeah, I myself is a basic background on quantum calculation and molecular dynamics. Quantum calculation, we're talking about the energies calculate using the classical computer. Classical computer is got 0 and 1. You always listen head and tail like that. Flip the coin up. In between is either head or tail, right? And in the quantum computing, it can be between 0 and 1. It's not only two things, 0, 1, not only that one. It's between 0 and 1 in between. How many percent we don't know. Yeah. So for that, you start to realize that how powerful of this quantum computing is many more than 2 states and infinities. It's powerful memory, powerful space, right? Okay, now the things I asked you, okay, if I'm going to see like one person in the room, how do I do with the classical? Okay, only single person I do in the room. I want to search one single person. If you do classical way, you will go like by name tag like that, or without microphone. I don't ask like, okay, who is that? Okay, you just go one by one. But with the quantum computing, you can kind of like bird eye view look one shot, and then you know what is the position possibilities of that person could be. It's called superposition, and then another one is entanglement. Is use the linkage of your information in order to find that person in one shot. Okay? Now, come back to the cancer, because it's very complicated, different position of the mutation in your gene, and different person, different gene, different family, different gene. All that, how about if you can zoom at one? Where should I treat the drugs to selected position? What is the correct drug that I want to be? Can I use natural products, which is a gift from God already, that actually all the drugs is that represent the section of the natural product that you mix in order to make it better. Now, you snapshot of your mutation, that one I talking about the gene only. There's a key law, very big important on your lifestyle, and then our calculation data that calculate different position of electrons in the space in order to predict the interaction between the protein target and the drug some more. How fast you can be. Dr. Long always challenge me, yeah. Can you do fast? Current one is fast already. I say, oh, so many data, some more. How do we do? Omics data, the calculation data, and then the several mutation data. It's not only one specific mutation. So all these have to combine. When you're talking about big data, big calculation that you use, quantum computing is come into play. But we need to start now to learn how to change the things in classical to the quantum computing. It's very hard, it's very challenging. But this one, the new technologies, the new generation must know. That's what I want to say, yeah. So you should check out the quantum computing. It's a powerful tool. Together with the AI, you can treat people, and then cancer can be cured.
Thank you, Prof. So basically, yes, quantum computing is able to further accelerate the speed of AI in basically automating all the tasks and all that. So we know that Prof also mentioned about data, multiple data and all that. And we know that in order for us to develop a good AI, we need data. And how can we get data is basically from partnership and collaboration. So my next question is still to Prof as a representative from academia. Prof, fostering trust and collaboration is critical for AI success. What are the biggest challenges to bringing together diverse stakeholders? For example, how can academia better work with industry, regulators, government, in basically bringing AI discovered molecule to the market?
This one, I come out to one sentence. I think we have to train our brain with the AI towards the possibilities. Correct, right? If everyone thinks that we possible to do things, train our brains, reduce the negative, get the good positive energies, and then keep doing towards the progress, I think we can do it, yeah. Train our brains. Say the right people, the right good person, the right thing that we want to do. What is the team that we want to work? What is the research problem that we want to do? And my team is like really focused on the cancer now, because I think it's very complicated issue, and then we really need most. Yeah. So this one, I think everyone open already, but it's how we always think like how we gonna share the platform, all this genetic information. The government is really need to look on this, how we can use and then can work on this data that we have. we have already, but how we gonna use and then make it useful, yeah. So train our brain towards the possibilities, working together well, solve real problem on the cancer. For small case like this, just do it, yeah. Okay.
Dr. Nazli, just to add on that, basically since you are coming from ex-government going into industry, so what are your views in terms of government? What can we do in creating a policy that enables more data sharing across different stakeholders and streamline, basically eventually streamline the process of AI development in Malaysia?
Yeah, I think in terms of the development, I think that there's a lot of changes in the model. In the past, we do not have any collaborative model. I think we need to change that to create more collaborative consortium-like. The problem in Malaysia, okay, pharmaceutical industry is regarded as a priority sector. But again, I think if you look at the number of companies that is really get into the real business of doing R&D, it's very minimal. Because the impact of the financial to the organization if they were to do it by themselves. But I think if the Malaysian government were to provide kind of a platform so that it will enable the company to work together with the university and research institutes, which is not new. I mean, the rest of the world is working. I just mentioned about CEPI and the rest of the development of AI in vaccine. They have to rope in the academic. We cannot run away from the academics. I think that's the way things are. But I think in Malaysia, we are lacking in terms of making the organization or companies together with the university and research institute together. So I think the policy that the government could provide probably to provide some sort like an avenue for all of us to work together. I just talked to Dr. Azwan about why not we create a pilot project, since UTM is regarded as the university that will head AI. And of course, Meranti will be working on the innovation component. So I think creating the consortium with University Malaya, for example, company like us, even though small, but I think there are ways of doing it. And I think from IMU now also a company, so I think there's a way to do it. But I think the idea here, there are areas that we say Malaysia can compete. You see, the problem with the drug discovery is the domain of the multinationals. But I think there's a new area of focus, which is cell and gene therapy, which changed the level of the playing field. Because the requirement for the treatment, it requires that the patient T cells, for example, be taken from the patient, and you have to have a lab that then will engineer the T cells to be able to recognize cancer cells. And I was reading about how much it costs. It will cost probably 500,000 to 1 million ringgit in Europe, but it may cost 200,000 ringgit in Malaysia because of the changes in the way the drug is being administered. And the development of conventional drug, for example, the small molecules or biologics, for example, they want to basically manufacture in one site and then deliver to the rest of the globe. But because the cost of the development is so high, then the cost for treatment is much higher. But with the changes in, for example, the development of cell and gene therapy, where the concept will be slightly different, it allows a lot of small companies to be able to get into the field. And I thought this could be a good field for Malaysian companies. However, I think there's also a gap, as again we mentioned about getting it approved and so on and so forth. So I thought it could be a very good, some sort of like a way forward, where we have a consortium of companies and universities, and the development of AI that would be able to get this target molecule to be able to be handled properly. And we hope in the future, we can remove the animal testing or the use of animal eventually when we can understand a little bit more about our body, even though we know that the body has thousands of reactions. If this can be simulated in AI, I think there will be a lot more faster in the development. And I think Malaysia could be, if we were to work together and develop a kind of a pilot project, I think we could be a champion in this field. And I believe there's a room to it, and I believe that if there is a will from the government to help and push it forward, I think Malaysia can be in the map. Yes.
Thanks, Dato'. I think I really like it when a panel session like this basically can produce something tangible in terms of outcome. And for Meranti, we are definitely excited in embarking perhaps in establishing this consortium of AI to be led by UTM, and we are basically leading from the innovation side. And this could revolutionize our pharmaceutical industry. This morning, basically, I had a very interesting conversation with one of the panels on the other side. So basically, we have a HAFTAC event ongoing on the other side of this building. I had one very interesting conversation with one of the panel in which she told me that our government, through NIMP, National Industrial Master Plan, putting medical devices and pharmaceutical, 2 out of the 5 pillars, medical devices and pharmaceutical. And then she questioned me, do you know that our self-sustaining level for these 2 industries is only 1%? So there's a huge gap between where we are now and where we want to be. And I think this initiative could be one of the things that could help us in accelerating our position to where we want to be in the future, ultimately delivering our NIMP 2030 plan as well. So yeah, I think it's right here. I don't have much time. So just one final question to Prof. Leong as a concluding questions. Prof. Leong, in your opinion, what are the most promising opportunities for AI in drug discovery that we should be focusing on over the next 5 years, particularly when it comes to improving access to medicine for underserved population?
Right. I think that there are quite a few things that we can do, like what have been mentioned. I think cell therapy is going to be in the mainstream, and Malaysia have the potential to go into this new technology as well, where the production, the localized production is absolutely crucial. It doesn't, well, compare to, let's say, small molecules whereby you have to manufacture from one place and then import it in. I think in the future of healthcare, we will see a plethora of different options that is lying ahead, small molecule, biologics, or even to the level of cell therapy. And Malaysia needs to identify where do we position ourselves, the best way that we can position ourselves. Are we competitive enough to actually, tackle the small molecule market or even the biologics market, or are we better to actually, be positioned and be specialized in certain area? Gene and cell therapy is one such area. I think it's still very green, so that Malaysia can position into that. But of course, Malaysia also have large, diverse natural biodiversity as well. So we haven't actually systematically explored that space yet. Well, imagine, so if we have a system that could create a database that we can catalog, even the gene pool of all these different biodiversity and the molecules that it produce, right? I can tell you is that you have a very, very powerful data set in the whole world that no one will be able to replicate it. And you can have that kind of power to actually using the AI and using this data plus the AI to generate value from that. And this is the area that I think Malaysia have a unique, distinct advantage, which other countries do not, right? If we do not use it today, so it will be a waste, basically. I think these 2 areas, I would say that it will be a particular advantage for Malaysia to invest in. Yeah.
Thank you, Prof. Leong. So with that, I think I would conclude the session. Basically, thanks everyone. I'm sorry that we don't have time to have a Q&A session, but the panels will be here during the break session. So if you want to catch one of them just to have a conversation, please feel free to do so. And as I mentioned previously as well, for those of you who are interested in HAFTAC related contents, you can head to the other side of the building where we are running the HAFTAC Innovation Connect. We have interesting contents in the space of regulation, in the space of innovation, pilot and validation in hospitals. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mohammad Hazwan, for moderating that very exciting discussion. And thank you to our panelists. Let's have a quick group photograph to wrap up the session. Thank you, panel, and we are definitely excited for the future of AI and health tech and how this will revolutionize the way we take care of ourselves. Once again, may I steal a minute of your time, ladies and gentlemen, to scan that QR code and help us improve. Let us know about the session, how you felt about the conversation had on stage.